I rather like my oily cap. I rather like my oily cap.
It's in the rule book, that.
I rather like my oily cap. My cap. I rather like my oily cap. I rather like my oily cap.
It's in the rule book, that.
I rather like my oily cap. My cap. What's the flash point of your cap?
I think it was like near brew time when they made that one.
If I go on my holidays are out and I haven't got my cap, you know, I feel as though somebody shaved the top of my head, you know, like when I'm doing a bit of blacksmithing, occasionally I take it off and I get hold of some hot iron and it sets on fire, you know, like so much oil in it, which has happened on more than one occasion. Sort of everybody says, oh, they're bloody ugly, you know. You go and look at the multi-storey cap, you know, downtown, and look at that. That is a million times more ugly than my oily cap. I rather like my oily cap.
It's in the rule book, that.
I rather like my oily cap. It has a smell all of its own, my oily cap. I've actually ended up in bed with it on. You know, I'll frequently sit on the toilet with the thing on, you know, something to stop rain going on top of your head. You know, there's no doubt about it. There's something about it.
In the very olden days, you know, like these fellas who wanted to do something for the glory of God, you know, like stuck up a bloody great church spire. Most of them were erected by colliery owners and mill owners, and I think they built them to pave the way into heaven. You know, they weren't all bad men, but they lived on other people's misery, didn't they? You know, everybody working hard, you know, digging bloody coal in a slit underground 2 foot thick, and sort of they lived in, you know, in beautiful mansions, you know. The few that made everybody else suffer. My sort of ideal of heaven would be somewhere where nobody did any fighting, nobody were hungry, and there were plenty for everybody. You know, my little bit of it would be just to be left alone with a big pile of rusty steam engines and enough iron plate for mend them, like sort of thing. You know, it would be quite wonderful, that, you know, because you wouldn't have to worry about where your next dinner were going to come from, you know. And you could just get on with, you know, mending these ancient relics forever.
You know, I like cap. You know, why should I not bloody wear one? I rather like my oily cap.
It's in the rule book, that.
What's the flash point of your cap? I rather like my oily cap. My cap. I rather like my oily cap.
It's in the rule book, that.
What's the flash point of your cap? I rather like my oily cap. My cap. I actually ended up in bed with it on. You know, frequently sit on the toilet with the thing on, you know. Something to stop rain going on top of your head. You know, I like cap. You know, there's no doubt about it. There's something about it.
In the other epic thing we did about climbing chimneys, you know, I was criticised for saying, you know, I had a few pints before I climbed up. But, you know, I'd like to say that, sort of, you want to try this bloody job sober, you know.